What is going on, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? My name is Prodigy, and welcome to our video on the channel, another Kingdom Hearts Ultimania video. Today, we are going to be covering the Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance Ultimania. In the last video, we started off small, covering about 6 questions, talking about what went into things like flow motion or the title for Dream Drop Distance. If you want to check that out, check the end card at the end of this video, or in the card above at the top right of the screen, or in the playlist down below. Today though, we're going to be continuing with the Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance Ultimania. I had a lot of fun playing Dream Drop Distance the other day. I hadn't played the game or completed the game in about a year and a half to 2 years, and I played so much Kingdom Hearts 3 and other Kingdom Hearts titles like Days or Birth by Sleep and Recoded very recently. I felt like Dream Drop was the only game I hadn't replayed in recent memory. And I had so much fun getting back into it, and I can't wait to play even more of it with you guys on stream and just look at some new stuff, mess around with some new mechanics, pay attention to different story elements. But enough of that, let's get right into this. When you included Dream and Drop in the title, were you assuming from that point in time that there would be a drop system? Yes, I suppose so. We have made KH titles before in which the story is divided between characters, but because some people are of the opinion that each story felt like a short story, this time we decided to think of the plot as one string from the beginning. For it to be like that, we had to consider many things regarding how to best handle switching back and forth between which character the player is controlling. We considered whether we should let people choose when to switch, but we wanted some sort of thrill. Throughout the series so far, there's always been that thrill of danger when HP is running out, but that becomes less of a threat as the player levels up. I thought I want to put in something else on top of that, and it took the shape of forcibly switching the character being controlled with Drop. Also, if we had made the switching completely optional, there would be people who only went along playing either Sora or Riku, and one of the characters could get too much stronger than the other, so it's also a means of controlling that. With more than 50 breeds of spirits you can make friends with, the spirit growth system is also a factor that makes this game worth more than a speedrun, isn't it? Well, it was like, if we were to make a system where you can get an enemy character onto your team and develop them, this is how I'd want it to be. I wouldn't want players to get enemies on their team by defeating them. I would want to have people experience the process of raising them from birth until they get strong, and have them feel attached to the target of their raising. To bring that system into reality, it would have been weird setup wise to make friends with Heartless and Nobodies, so we went with creating a new type of being called Dream Eaters. In the beginning, there were less breeds, but I thought it was lacking variation. I told the staff they'd probably need to make more than 50. We had to show they were cooperating with Sora and Riku to fight enemies, so riding on their backs and the like with link attacks was necessary too, which made our workload incredible. Alright, so I'm going to stop there because those responses were pretty lengthy. Personally, Dream Eaters were always something I loved. At one point, actually, they were my second favorite enemy variant next to Heartless. And still could be, maybe. I gotta think about it more. I personally love Dream Eaters. I love the aspect of taking care of them and how many different Dream Eaters there were. I felt like it was something so different but very fresh for Kingdom Hearts, and it was a very fun system to get immersed in. Still to this day, I haven't collected every Dream Eater or leveled them up and gotten every ability from them. A lot of the time during my more typical playthroughs, I get 3 to 5 Dream Eaters that I just alternate between, and I generally stick with them. And if I do go out of my way for other Dream Eaters, it's usually for some sort of ability or level up or something. But I really love Dreamers. I thought that was really cool. Now, regarding the drop system in the game, I want to make a bigger video talking about the drop system and going a little bit more in depth with it, but I'm going to replay the game first so I can get my feelings on that and have them be a little bit more fresh. But for right now, I feel like the drop system is something that is a little bit annoying. I think it's something that early on does have that throw to it, and it's not that big of a deal, because the way the story drops you into Riku and Sora does feel pretty organic early on, at least in Traverse Town. But the issue with the drop system from my perspective is how when you go through the game more and more and more, it becomes a lot less of a thrill and more of a, I just want to play as Riku or Sora. I want to at least just finish this world or finish this boss battle. I definitely think that the bosses should be defeated. They should be allowed to be defeated regardless of whether your drop gauge is like low or not. In the middle of a Dream Eater fight, Nightmare fight, perfectly fine, but in the middle of a boss, I think that's where it got really annoying for a lot of people with switching between Sora and Riku. But it's something that if you do pay attention to, if you do use things like drop me nots, for example, you can manage it fairly easily. Again, it's just tedious. But moving along, which Dream Eaters did you design yourself? The only one I drew myself is Meow Wow. I drew it basically all in one go and didn't edit it at all. As for the other spirits, I showed Meow Wow to the staff and requested they please give them a design that is strange, charming without being too cute. They drew for me in high spirits and came out with one interesting design after another. The title is the first Cage game in a while to feature Sora and Riku as protagonists. I heard from many fans that they wanted to play as Sora again soon, and I felt I wanted to answer them. However, the true protagonist and plot for this title isn't Sora, it's Riku. The story depicted in this title is of Riku's growth as he changes stance and makes the darkness he had been locking inside himself up until now into his own power. This is symbolized by Riku being chosen as a Keyblade Master at the end. Okay, I'm gonna stop there again. That makes me so happy to hear that said. Now, everyone in the community pretty much says that Riku's the main character of Dream Drop Distance. That's how they feel anyways. Though we didn't have like crazy hard confirmation of that, just the ending to go off of and just how good his story was to go off of in comparison to Sora's. But to hear Nomura say it himself, or read Nomura saying it, it just puts a smile on my face because it's like, okay, everything we've been saying about Dream Drop for years regarding Riku is pretty much true and was intended. Riku was the main character of Dream Drop, everyone, so yep, we can say Dream Drop is just Riku's game, 100%. Many worlds in this title are appearing for the first time in this series. How did you choose them? Basically, from the Osaka development team's proposals, worlds they wanted to have appear, what they wanted to do there. I received proposals for both those things, and I chose from among them. You know, in the beginning, there was even the idea to divide Fantasia and Fantasia 2000 between Sora and Riku in Symphony of Sorcery. Did the characters from the Worlds with You appear in Traverse Town due to the Osaka development team's proposals too? No, in the first scenario, they planned to have Leon and Sid and the others like always. However, it would have been weird for them to be in Traverse Town in this title, and maybe it's time to give the arrive in Traverse Town, Sid says hey kid routine a rest. So when I thought about who'd feel fresh to put in, I thought it might be interesting to depict teenagers from a city like Shibuya coming into contact with country kids like Sora. Thus, I decided to put in the characters from the Worlds with You. Also, another reason was that in this title, Traverse Town is a world in which many things must be explained, and Joshua is just right for the role of explainer. I find that Fantasia thing really interesting that they were originally going to do that. I wonder how that would have turned out. And as much as I loved seeing Leon, Sid, and the whole Final Fantasy gang in Traverse Town, I definitely like the Worlds with You integration. I think that's a big thing people look back at Dream Drop for and they get really excited about, especially with recent The Worlds with You popularity and so on. Still waiting to see when we'll visit Shibuya again, the actual one, or Shibuya with Neku rather. But that will about do it for today's video, everyone. I really enjoyed this segment. Got some very nice insight towards Dream Eaters and even like their decisions towards putting the Worlds with You characters in Traverse Town, and Riku being just confirmed as the protagonist of Dream Drop Distance, which I think is really cool. But if you guys enjoyed today's video, you already know what to do. Leave a like, share the video with a friend or a family member, and last but not least, if you're not already and want to become a part of the union, all you have to do is hit that red subscribe button down below. My name is Prodigy, and I will talk to you guys soon. Peace out, you guys. Bye.
Now she's a daydreamer. She's always thinking about him. No more room in this picture for you to fit in. Now she's